Welcome to the Holistic Success Show. I'm Elizabeth Lozano.
And I'm Dr. Robert Puff. Today we're going to have a guest talking about posture and how it can help us to be healthy and fit.
Dr. Puff will be talking to us about healthy versus unhealthy ways to live life, as well as healing from loss.
And a question from you about how do we set boundaries with people that we love?
Another question is about increasing your energy. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Life has suffering. We cannot evade the suffering of life. But what we can do, our choice involves how will I deal with the pain and suffering which I am going to experience throughout life. What most people around the world do is they choose to turn to painkillers to turn off that suffering. And painkillers, in a short definition, are addictions. Because when you suffer and you have pain, if you turn to a painkiller, it will turn it off, and that painkiller is addiction. For example, alcohol, drugs, relationship, workaholism. There are a plethora of painkillers, and perhaps an example would be helpful. My uncle, who was a wonderful person, he's passed now, he had had suffering in his childhood. He was mistreated by people in his life. And what he did was he chose not to deal with that. Instead, he turned to alcohol and booze. And he drank, and he drank, and the older he got, because the pain didn't go away, it got worse, he kept having to drink more and more and more, until truly the alcohol killed him. And though he was a beautiful person, it did end his life. Now, what we can do, what some people choose to do, is to say, although it's hard, and though suffering needs to be healed, I am choosing to heal from that suffering. So what they do is they say, I'm going to face the suffering, and when they face it, guess what? There is pain. So when they face that pain, they will get better, but it can take a while. So again, let me give you an example of that. My brother-in-law, Brent, also struggled with alcoholism, and he decided to stop. So he started going to AA. He started not drinking and deal with the emotions that were inside of him. And it has been a very painful process for him. But he too is a very beautiful person who I love very much. And what I see in him, this very kind, gentle soul, is that he is healing. His life is improving. Everyone around him is improving. And he is, though suffering, because he's facing the things that he needs to face, is getting much, much better. I too, in my own life, I went through therapy and had things I had to feel. And for years, I struggled with depression and things that I was suppressing. But now as I face these pains, they cause me suffering. But what happens is when you choose the second path, is you get, in the end, happiness, you get peace, you get freedom from the suffering. Because when you deal with things, it's like having a really bad cut. You have a choice of suppressing it, like shooting pain medication into it. But if you heal it, it ultimately becomes a scar. And then you can still remember it, and you can still see the scar, but it doesn't hurt anymore. And emotional suffering that we experience in life, suffering that we experience here and now, is just like that. If we go through the process of working through that pain, it will go away. And ultimately what you're left with is the freedom and the peace that truly passes all understanding. Peace.
Our first question this week comes to us from Farah in Pakistan. My sister has always been jealous of me, mainly because of the positive choices I've made in my life compared to her negative choices. Recently, she has become verbally abusive towards myself and my children. I love her, but I will not tolerate this behavior. What should I do?
Farah, I think you have actually hit it on the head pretty well. I think what you said as far as loving your sister and setting boundaries is the key. Because in relationships, particularly with family, we do want to keep them. I think keeping family is important, but we need to set boundaries. So what I recommend is when you do see her, and as long as she's behaving well towards you and your children, you spend time with her and you love her. But when she misbehaves and she starts attacking you or your children, you set a boundary, and the boundary often is, we're going to leave right now. So what she'll learn is, if she wants to spend time with you, she has to be kind and loving. it isn't that you reject her, it's just that you spend limited time with her when she's inappropriate. And as soon as she becomes inappropriate, the relationship for that instant ends. So it's about setting boundaries and loving and finding that perfect balance between the two of them. Because with family members, they matter, they're important. You're modeling for your children to care for each other. So you don't want to reject family, but you want to set very strict boundaries with them. Love them and say, but this isn't appropriate. And you don't excuse it, you don't let her keep doing it, particularly towards you or your children, because it hurts them and it actually hurts her. The reason why she's reaching out to you in negative ways is because she has pain. As you said, she hasn't done as well in life. So continue to love her, but set boundaries. What are your thoughts on that?
Farah, I would also like to commend you on setting that limit, that boundary with your sister, because her behavior is inappropriate. And I think, modeling for your children as well and saying to them, it's not okay for people to treat us this way, even if it's our family member. And also, I'm really big on communication. I do want to be culturally sensitive here, but I think it's very important for you to communicate to your sister and tell her, I love you and I want to have a relationship with you, but I cannot tolerate you to treat me or my children this way. And I know that's going to be really hard, but the thing is, unless we communicate our feelings, often we can be very passive aggressive without even realizing it. Or you may find yourself maybe not spending time with your sister. Perhaps she doesn't even know that she's doing this behavior. Sometimes we do them on an unconscious level. So I think it's very important for you to comment to her, let her know how you're feeling, and also let her know that it's not okay.
And I also want to talk a little bit about her sister. It seems like, your sister is struggling. And I think she is a good example of if you don't work on success, and because this is a holistic success show, there are consequences to that.
We hurt ourselves or we hurt others often.
Yes, and so I think it's important to say, okay, I don't feel like doing this, but if you do things, if you reach towards your goals and you accomplish things, it is going to make you feel good. But the reverse is true, is it not? If you don't, what happens?
You beat up yourself and you beat up other people, you treat others around you poorly, which actually ultimately ends up making you feel bad.
Yes, so continue to watch our show and learn about success, learn about holistic success, putting it together so that you won't ever do that to another person, and love your sister. And as I think Elizabeth so wisely said, try to understand her pain and realize it comes from her pain, but also set boundaries with her.
Don't let her do that to you or your kids. And thank you so much for your question.
Tranquility and peace. Find freedom and relaxation no matter where you are or who you're with. Be still, be free. Meditation for Health and Happiness, available at www.holistichealth.tv.
Have you ever wanted to improve your posture? Well, our guest this week teaches you how to do just that. His name is Dr. Paul Drew, and he's a kinesiologist as well as a doctor of physical therapy. He has worked with professional athletes as well as red carpet celebrities, and he is the author of this book, Red Carpet Posture, which shows exercises that get you great posture. So welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. Well, can you share with our viewers why posture is important?
Well, posture is important because it's an expression of who you are. It shows the self-confidence that you display to yourself and to others around you.
And what would you say are some of the reasons for bad posture?
Well, some of the reasons will include stress at work, and you may not even realize that you're putting yourself in a bad postural position. There's a tendency for a lot of people to be slouching, such as this, and not even realize that they're slouching at all.
Especially when they're typing on that computer all day long.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, it's become a little bit fashionable lately, especially amongst the younger generation, to have sort of that slouchy look. You have a lot of your young starlets today who seem to feel it's fashionable to display a sort of a poor posture. Kind of it's groovy to be slouched over a little bit, to be a little bit slumped. And I think a lot of young girls don't realize that it's not really that fashionable to begin with, and it's also bad for the health of their body and gives them a look of less confidence as well.
Actually, you're talking about that, and once I heard that when people are going to attack somebody or rob somebody, that's what they look for, is somebody who has posture like this, because they're not upright and confident. Because are you going to mess with somebody who's confident or somebody who is maybe walking around like this?
You may have given me a good idea that good posture can help decrease crime, but I'm not sure about that. But no, that actually makes sense.
Yeah, in
it
training
does.
and self-defense, they talk to you about that. You always make eye contact with people and always hold yourself upright, because that shows about how you're feeling about yourself.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the reasons I developed the book was to help people get a better confidence about themselves through improving their posture. And it definitely will help in a situation when you're meeting a prospective mate for the first time, or you're making a huge business presentation. It's important to show that you have the confidence in what you're trying to display and what you're trying to say.
Okay. And now I understand that you have some clothing that actually helps people with their posture. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I developed with Vincent Libretti, a former Project Runway contestant, clothing that helps remind you to keep your posture correct. It's not a brace which will solidly put you in that position, but if you start slouching, you'll feel the material bring your shoulders back and your stomach in and put your hips in the correct place. We call it RCP apparel, red carpet posture, and it's designed specifically to help bring the shoulders back, stomach in, help you have that glamorous look.
So can you talk to us a little bit about why our posture gets worse as we age and what we can do to prevent that?
Well, oftentimes as we age, things do happen in our body. Our discs shrink with age, but a lot of times elderly people don't realize that their posture is not very good. I'll give an example of my own father, who I mentioned in my book. And my father, I went to visit him a couple years ago. He's a World War II veteran and older, and he was all bent out of shape. He was crooked and off to one side. And I said, "Dad, sit up straight, stand up straight." And he said, "Well, I am." He didn't realize that until I pointed it out to him. And he actually did some of the same exercises in my book, and within just a month or so, his posture was fine. So sometimes it's just awareness as well.
So what are some things that people can do at home to maybe even just sitting that can affect their posture? Which also, I think we convey a lot about our self-esteem with the way we sit. Would you agree? And the way we stand?
Absolutely. Self-esteem is very important, and your posture can dictate what kind of self-esteem you have. If you are slouching, you're showing a lack of self-confidence to others around you. And a couple simple advices that I give is, remember to keep your shoulders down and back and your stomach up and in. Those two things together will help elongate your spine, give you a more glamorous look. And I always like to use the example. Think of having an orange between your shoulder blades. And you have that orange and you're trying to squeeze that orange as if to make orange juice. In order to do that, you got to bring your shoulders down and back, squeeze the orange, and maintain that posture. And it'll give you a greater self-confident look.
I'm doing that now, and I can really feel what a difference that is. Now, I know in your book you have a lot of exercises and you have a lot of pictures that you show how to do the exercises. Would you mind if we go outside and showing me some of those exercises?
Absolutely, and not only that, we'll have you wear the RCP apparel so you can feel how it fits the body, how it reminds you to keep your posture correct.
Wonderful, let's go do it. So Dr. Drew, now that you've brought me out here on this fabulous red carpet and this wonderful outfit, why don't you talk a little bit about what I'm wearing?
You are wearing RCP apparel, and RCP apparel was designed with Vincent Libretti of Project Runway fame, and it's clothing that's active couture wear that helps promote proper posture. It reminds you to keep your posture correct, and it does that because of the way the fabric and pattern is designed. It will keep your shoulders back, and it will bring your stomach in, and it'll keep your hips in the right place.
And it does. You can feel it. It's very snug, but not too snug.
Yes, it's got a lining inside that's breathable as well, so it's comfortable, and you can work out in it, or you can do casual activity in it.
So why don't we get to the working out? Why don't you show me some exercises that we can do to improve my posture?
Absolutely. I'll start with a few simple exercises right here. Silver ball on the red carpet. Let me have you start with sitting on the ball. Now, I always try to promote keeping the shoulders back and the stomach in. So these are simple exercises that one can do at home. If you do not have a ball, you can just use a chair or the end of your bed. So the first exercise, I'm going to have you put your hands behind your head. That'll promote keeping the shoulders back. Put your feet out a little bit wider. And with your stomach into your spine, just bend forward, nice and easy, and then come back up.
That feels really good on my legs and on my back.
Yes, it stretches out your hamstrings, So to help make you more flexible, to help out with your spine as well, prevent lower back problems.
So what's another one that we can do?
Another one that you can do is, let's have you roll your back onto the ball, your feet out in front of you, keep your hips up, have your hands behind your head, and just bring your body up towards the sky. And this will help engage the stomach muscles.
Yeah, I feel that a lot on my stomach.
The reason I like to use the ball is that it helps promote balance. And anytime balance is used, you're going to incorporate your core abdominal muscles.
And I'm working this area too.
You're working your buttocks as well, and you're also promoting keeping your shoulders back also.
Okay, and let's show us another couple ones.
Yes, absolutely. The next thing I'm going to have you do is, why don't you lean over the ball, put your stomach on there, have your legs out straight and your arms there. Now bring a straight arm up and opposite leg up. There we go, and then change to the other side. Once again, because the ball's underneath your stomach and you're balancing, you're stimulating your core muscles there. You're also promoting your shoulders back.
I feel it a lot in my low back too.
Yeah, you're strengthening, well, the transverse abdominis, one of the core muscles, comes around to here. So you kind of feel like a squeezing there.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. And then the last one I'll show you is, why don't you lie on your back and put both your heels on the ball. And remember, at home, if you don't have a ball, just use a chair, the end of a sofa, the end of your bed, hands behind your head. Bring your upper body up towards the sky as you bring one leg up straight, back down, and then the other.
Can you guys see me shaking on that one?
Absolutely. You feel all those muscles right there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Once again, we're using balance because the feet are on the ball. It's stimulating the core muscles, which help with posture. She's keeping her shoulders back, so she has a nice elongated, thinner look. And now you're looking more glamorous.
Yeah, now I got a good workout. Thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
Wow, that was really great doing those exercises and wearing that clothing, and all of you got to see the beautiful Newport Beach, California, where we live. So thank you so much for that. Now, if people want to learn more about those exercises in your book, The Red Carpet Posture, where can they get a hold of this and a hold of you?
Well, they can find the book on my website, which is redcarpetposture.com. The book is also available on Amazon and barnesandnobles.com. The clothing you can find on my website as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on our show.
Oh, my pleasure. And my parting advice for all the viewers out there, shoulders back, stomach in, now you're looking glamorous.
Thank you.
Co-hosts of the Holistic Success Show, Dr. Puff and Elizabeth Lozano, MA, want to teach you how to live a meditative life. Learn to still your mind, diminish negative thinking, experience peace and bliss, and be 100% present in the moment. Retreats provide a unique opportunity to learn new skills, meet new people, and interact with Elizabeth Lozano and Dr. Puff. For information or reservations for upcoming retreats, please visit holisticretreats.tv. Expand your capacity for joyful living today.
As we go through life, there's one thing we all have to face, and that is death. Someone we love is going to die, and there's just really no way of getting around this. We all pretty much will lose our parents and our grandparents. Sometimes we lose close friends, our spouse, and even horribly, sometimes we lose our children. So what do you do when you lose someone you love? Elizabeth and I have shared our own examples in previous episodes, but there are actually stages that we go through and that might be helpful for you to understand in the process of your healing when you face death, like Elizabeth and I have. The first stage that happens, there's 5 of them. The first one that happens is denial. When someone we love dies, we just can't believe it. We cannot believe it. And it can even manifest when you wake up the next day. You assume they're there, and they're not. You think they're there, and then you wake up and you get the news again in your mind. They're actually gone. So the denial kicks in first. And then later what may happen is the next stage is anger. When you realize they actually are gone, you get angry. You can be angry at God for taking them. You can be angry at the person that might have been responsible for their death. You can actually even be angry at yourself for you weren't able to protect them, or you weren't able to say your last words of love to them. You didn't tell them something that you wish you had. So there's a lot of anger that manifests after someone dies. Part of the anger is healing, because anger is a good healing tool, but a lot of times it is not healthy. It's directed at you, or it's directed in inappropriate ways. So that is a feeling that manifests after someone we love dies. and make sure that you are using that feeling correctly to heal. The third thing that we do often is bargain. We bargain with God, we bargain with life. Please, just bring them back. Please change this. Please help me to feel better. Anything to make what I'm experiencing right now to be different. And after bargaining, when bargaining fails, because it will fail, then we go into a depression or sadness. We start grieving the loss of them. We are sad. We really miss them. And tears flow. But those tears flowing can be healing because they're cleansing. They allow us to grieve. And grieving is a healthy process as long as it's not directed into negative self-talk. And negative self-talk is what depression is. And how that would manifest as is if you said, I'm never going to be happy again. My life is over because they're gone. And that's of course not true, but if you think that, that becomes your reality. Healthy form of healing sadness is, I really miss them. I wish they were here, but I know I won't see them again, and I'm going to be okay. I just need to be sad. What you'll find is the healing occurs and you get better. And then lastly, what kicks in, what happens is what's called acceptance. And you accept that they're gone. You miss them, you love them, but you're healed and you're ready to move forward in your life. Peace.
Our second question this week comes to us from Rosa in Mexico. I was recently diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. Not only am I tired, but my body aches. Is there anything I can do to give me more energy?
Rosa, I'm so glad you're watching our show, because I think if you implement all the different things that we talk about in this show, from exercise, eating right, sleeping, meditation, keeping your marriage healthy, all these various things we'll talk about episode after episode after episode, what you'll find is your energy level will increase. It will get healthier, you'll find more energy, and you'll find tools. We will hopefully give you very specific tools that can increase your energy. For example, one thing that I do is meditation. We both meditate. And what I have found over meditating for almost 3 decades now, that I require very little sleep. I can get on about 3 to 6 hours a day. So, and eating, I eat very organic juices and raw food throughout the day, and that gives you energy. So there's many things you can do, a plethora of them. And if you watch this show and learn about the different things, what you'll find is, I think, is that your energy will really start going up. What are your thoughts?
Rosa, I can imagine how difficult it must be for you to be struggling with chronic fatigue syndrome. And I do want to touch on another point, is that dealing with pain and being tired all the time can really affect your self-esteem and your mood, which also in turn affects your energy level. So I think it's important for you to find a support system, whether it's your friends and family, or perhaps even talking to a counselor or a psychologist that you can go to. There's also sometimes groups of people, it could be men, women, men and women, who are suffering from the same things that you are. Perhaps even on the internet you could find that as well, just to help you so you're not alone, because dealing with pain every day is tough on you. That's tough on your self-esteem. And being exhausted all day, that's tough on your self-esteem too. So factor that in with exercise, proper nutrition, and all those things that we talk about really piece together so you can have a happy, healthy life.
Rosa, I know we've given you a bunch of ideas, but one idea you can do right now, as soon as this show's over, go for a walk. Go for a 30-minute walk. And what you find is, even though it takes energy to walk and you may not feel like it, that walking exercise gives you energy and can really help with both the aches and pains and the fatigue.
I absolutely agree with you, and I think that meditation, which is one of Dr. Puff's favorite topics, is another thing that you can try as well to quiet that mind.
And what happens is when you're struggling with pain and ache, you create a lot of negative self-talk in here. So if you say, I don't have to be in pain all the time, I can choose to do other things, focus on other things. If you focus on something else, like when you're walking, I bet you'll find you will feel better, and when you feel better, then your overall quality of life is going to improve.
Thank you for your question, and we wish you all the best on your journey towards healing and health. How to Live a Positive Life, available at www.holistichealth.tv. Our Our quote this week is by Jonas Salk, who's an American biologist that developed the vaccine for polio. And the quote is, "Risk, I like to say, always pay off. You learn what to do or what not to do." So go out there and take risks, because you'll never know what you'll find or what you'll discover. Thank you for joining us on the Holistic Success Show. If you've enjoyed this episode and you'd like to see previous episodes, please check us out on our website and on iTunes.
And if you'd like to learn about sponsorship opportunities with us, please contact us.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.